Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nedling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Nedling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am very excited to have you meet Adrienne Simmons. And let me share with you a little bit about Adrienne. She lived with lower levels of energy for years and moved through her early 50s, and her life then took a downward spiral that didn't look very good, sadly. She was no longer in control of her life. Her life controlled her. Scared of what her life would look like in the future if she did not make some drastic changes, Adrienne chose instead to live a life on her terms. As a result of this decision, she created Energy Edge, Unlock Your Energy Potential coaching program. She works with corporate professionals, small business owners, and those like her with a foot in both worlds. Anyone suffering that dreaded afternoon chronic fatigue, tired of living life on the chronic fatigue terms, ready to kick their fatigue out the door and unlock energy potential. The program, Unlock Your Energy Potential program, is a great place for you to start. So we're going to talk about unmasking chronic fatigue, debunking myths, and finding solutions. Please join me in welcoming my guest, Adrienne Simmons. Welcome, Adrienne.
Welcome. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Before we get into all of the heavy stuff the people are waiting to hear, let's ask you two easy questions. The first is, tell everybody, where do you live? Where do you call home?
Toronto, Ontario, Canada, also known as the T.O.
Awesome. I love people in Toronto. All right. So please share your journey. You mentioned you have your both feet in the corporate world and the entrepreneurial world. So what took you from being in that corporate environment and at that stage, that lowest level, that said, I have to help myself because this is the only way I'm going to get better?
Wow. I still have my foot in both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
My goal, obviously, is to full-time be a vitality coach.
Nice.
And I'm on that journey right now. My personal story. I was born with boundless energy, Vicki. I had boundless energy, even up until my late 40s. I was all over the place. I remember some of my good friends used to call me the Energizer Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that bunny on the commercial on TV that goes on and on and on? So that's my nickname. That's what I was always dubbed by those who knew me really well. Because no matter how little sleep I had, no matter how much processed food I ate, no matter how much I drank, I still had boundless energy and I was always on the go. And then I turned 50. I didn't think anything about it. And I crossed over my 50-year line. And slowly but surely, didn't notice it right away, but soon I started noticing I was slowing down. And I was feeling more tired than I normally would. But you brush things off. We have a tendency to ignore things and brush it off as a one-off. And even as it continued, and I started to feel more and more fatigued,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm in my 50s. Because you remember, Vicky, what did we used to hear when we were young and we were around our parents and they're talking to one another and they're talking to their friends? She's in her 50s. She should be slowing down. Ah, he's in his 60s. He should be feeling all those pains. She's that age. She should be gaining weight. So that's what I heard. That's what I believed. And I
Yeah.
continued to brush it off. It's not my fault. This is just my biology and a result of getting older.
Yeah.
Now, Vicky, what I didn't realize that I realize now, and I realized shortly thereafter, is the same lifestyle choices I was making in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, I continued to make in my 50s. And this looked like I wasn't exercising. I didn't have to. I was full of energy. I ate whatever I wanted to eat. My food of choice, I love a Big Mac. I love hot fries, strawberry milkshake, my go-to. I
Mm-hmm.
also loved going out, loved to dance, loved to party. And it accelerated when my daughter left home, went to university, and I became that empty nester, that term that I never knew what it meant until I became an empty nester. Now, my daughter and I was a single mom from the time she was 3. So it's been her and I from 3 until she
Oh,
left
wow.
home at 17 to go to university. And all of a sudden, I'm in this big house and I'm walking around and it's quiet and it's empty and I don't have anything to do. When she was here,
Mm.
I always came home after work. I was always there for her. I made dinner when she was younger. I had her at different activities. When she's older, I'm taking her here, I'm taking her there. I always had a responsibility taking care of my daughter. She's gone now. There's nobody here. I'm walking around like, a lion in a cage back and forth. What am I going to do with myself? So, to alleviate that boredom, I started not coming home after work. Let me go out for dinner with
Mm.
this friend. Let me go out for dinner with that friend. That's what I started doing. I would come home at 9. I'm restless because you remember, I got all that energy now. I'm
Yeah.
not one to sit down on the sofa and watch TV. Then
Yeah.
I discovered, well, there are clubs that I can go to at 9 o'clock at night. So even during the week when I'd finish at the restaurant, I now found myself at nightclubs. Fantastic. Come home at 1 o'clock. Perfect. Go to bed, wake up at 7. I'm good to go back to work. But then it accelerated because when you're in certain environments, you get to connect with people that draw you into other environments. I started connecting with people that introduced me to the after hours, which is clubs that you can go to after 2 o'clock in the morning. And I said, really? And the after hours is conducive to a lot of party drugs and a lot of
Oh,
alcohol. So I became addicted to a lot of party drugs. I became addicted to alcohol, and that exasperated my fatigue.
yeah.
Some nights, I got to be honest though, maybe I'm coming home at 5 in the morning. I got to wake up at 7 because I got to be at work for 9. I was always responsible. I still went to work, even though I went to work looking like a mess. And then I
Mm.
discovered coffee. It's like, oh, really? It'll give me a zing. And it woke me up. So I'm
Oh
zinging
my
on coffee now throughout
gosh.
my workday. Because
Oh.
remember, I've only had 2 hours of sleep and I'm fatigued. And I would go home, I'd catch a couple of hours sleep, I'd wake up like at 9 and I'm restless again. And guess where I'm going, Vicky?
Oh,
I'm going back
yeah.
out again. This was my life for a couple of years, and I just live with that fatigue. I like to tell people if we're looking at a scale out of 10, with 10 being maximum energy to 1 being almost no energy, at my worst, I was maybe a 2 or 3, maybe a 4 out of 10 in my fatigue levels. I dragged myself to work tired.
Mm.
I doused myself with coffee all day, donuts, quick McDonald's, going out after work, eating junk food, and my life just took a downward spiral.
Wow.
It all came to a head when I went for a yearly checkup. I always went for my yearly checkup. And I remember I was maybe 55. And when I walked into the office, my doctor said, Adrienne, what's wrong? You look awful.
Well,
And
thank you.
I'm like, oh, I said, what do you mean? He goes, I can see you've gained a lot of weight since last year. I see dark circles under your eyes, and you just don't have that vitality. You look sluggish. You look lethargic. You don't
Mm.
look good. What's going on, Adrienne? And I told him, like I told you at the onset, well, I'm 55. I'm supposed to be slowing down. I'm supposed to be gaining weight. What are you talking about? He goes, Adrienne, not at all. It all depends on how you are
Yeah.
taking care of yourself. There are millions of people. Look at the centenarians. Look at the people in the blue zone. It's all dependent on the lifestyle choices that you are making. I just said, yeah. He took my blood test and I went my way. 2 weeks later, he calls me with my blood test. Adrienne, I got some bad news for you. You know, that made me sit up. You know, when a doctor says, I got some bad news for you,
Yeah.
I said, yes. He goes, I'm sorry to say, Adrienne, but based on your blood test results, you have now become pre-diabetic and you are literally an inch away from crossing over to being diabetic. What is going on, Adrienne? I've known you all of these years and you've never even been close to being pre-diabetic. What is going on? I don't know. You're right. Maybe I haven't been paying attention, but I'll do better, doc. You brush them off, right? I'll do better because I'm just thinking about going out that night. But when I thought about it, it came to me. You know what, Adrienne? Your father, my dad, he died from his diabetes in his
Oh
late 60s.
no. Oh
So if
no.
I'm 55, that means 10, 12 years from now, I could possibly be dead.
Mm.
So that made me sit up and say, oh, wow. Okay, Adrienne, maybe you should be taking this a lot more seriously than you have been taking it. Number two, my daughter was going to be coming home from school in a couple of months. There is
Yeah.
no way, Vicky, I
Yeah.
would want my daughter to see me in that condition. And number three, Betty White. Betty White was my role model. Up
Yeah.
until 99, my girl was still a
Mm-hmm.
co-producer on a show. And I always wanted to roll myself after Betty. I wanted to be kicking butt at
Yeah.
99, full of energy like Betty. And again, I said, Adrienne,
Absolutely.
if you keep on this path, you ain't even going to make it for another couple of years. So I started looking ahead and it's like, Adrienne, what is your life going to look like if you continue on this path?
Yeah.
And that's when I said, you know what, you need to make some serious decisions. I don't want to take up too much time, but really quickly, it was, I think my medical appointment was October, November. The following January, it is bitterly cold in Toronto. It was bitterly cold that January. Like, I believe that Sunday night, it was maybe 25 to 30 degrees minus zero. It was so cold. It literally took me 10 minutes to layer up just to go into my garage because I never smoked cigarettes in my house. So I'm sitting in my garage, layered up, no glove on because you don't want to burn your glove with a cigarette. I got a cigarette in one hand, I got a joint in the other hand, and I'm smoking. And Vicky, I just broke down. I just broke down, Vicky. I
Yeah.
broke down and I started to cry and I couldn't stop. And I said,
Mm.
God, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. But I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get off of this madness, how to get off of this wheel. You know, a mouse on that wheel, and you're just going around and
Mm.
around. Monday, it would be, I'm going to be good this week. I'm going to eat well. I'm going to exercise. By Thursday, back to the clubs. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was just madness. And I cried and I cried. I don't know how long I cried for. Went inside, went to bed. And all I know, Vicky, is a couple of weeks later, it was like my mind shifted based on, I like to call it an intervention from God.
I think so. That's what I was
You
just
know,
thinking.
but
God said, knock, knock, lady.
I just started, a shift started to happen
Mhm.
in my mind. And it's like, I don't want to go out after work. I want to go home.
No.
I think I'm going to go home. And I think I want to start doing some research into how can I live a healthier life as a maturing woman,
Yeah.
a woman going through a lot of hormonal changes that are obviously going to affect a lot of my choices. But
Yeah.
I know that I must have some control over the choices that I make. And then I started, when I'm shopping, I started buying more fruits and vegetables. And then a notification came in my door. A gym is opening in your area, discount for a year. It's like the universe was working on my behalf and just kind of just laying out things for me, just laying out, Adrienne, here you go. Here you go. Long story short, over a 12-month period, I used myself as a beta test, and I created a nutritional plan, a fitness plan. I changed my whole social network. Everybody in that environment, I cut out of my life. And I started to connect in networking groups with maturing women who want to live a life of health and wellness. So I started socializing with women on the same path as myself. I started learning how to lower my stress levels, meditating, breath work, time in nature. That affected my emotions and how I felt about myself. Over a 12-month period, I lost about 25 to 30 pounds that I had gained over the last couple of years. And my energy levels went back up to an 8 to a 9 out of 10 consistently. And today I am still enjoying energy levels 8, 9. Some days I'm a 10 out of 10. I'm just waking up and I'm just boom, 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 boom. I'm just go, 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 go. Because I learned that based on the lifestyle choices you make, your body will reward you with the energy that you need. And that is my story. Now, as a result, people started to compliment me. You got a lot of energy all of a sudden. Like, what's going on? What are you doing differently? I shared with them some of the lifestyle choices I was making. Oh, okay, no problem. Well, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you give me some advice? It's like, okay, no problem, no problem. And then that light bulb goes on in your head. And a light bulb came, and for me, it's like, Adrienne, it seems like energy is a commodity for people living with chronic fatigue. And that's when I said, if you were able to turn your life around from a 3 or a 4 out of 10 fatigue back up to an 8 or a 9, why don't you help others? And that's when I said, why don't you? Because I was a health and wellness coach, but then I said, let me niche down. Let me focus on energy, because I started to look around. And you know, when you are no longer part of a group, before I never noticed all the chronic fatigue people around me in my life, colleagues, friends, family, never noticed it because I was one of them. Once I cleaned up my life and I'm now the Energizer Bunny, I'm seeing the same people and it's like, wow, wow, look at her. Look at him. Wow. Wow. And those are the people that were coming to me saying, Adrienne, what are you doing if I touch you? Some people would even say, if I touch you, can I get a zap of your energy? I mean, Vicki, I loved it. Was so, I felt so good about how people were acknowledging my renewed energy. That's when I said, you know what, Adrienne? Why don't you help others? It's always about service. It's always about giving back. And that's when I created the Energy Edge, unlock your body's energy potential, because every single human being has the potential to have sustainable energy from sunrise to sunset. And that's my story.
So good. So good. You packed a
Thank
lot of
you.
stuff in there. And one of the things that you started to touch on were some strategies that you used. But when you talk to your clients, what are some other strategies that help them to get to that level? And I would imagine that it's not day one, you do these 15 things. You know, it has to be that step-by-step compounding the effects and the benefits of the little things that you do that people will stick with, as opposed to, you know, tomorrow I'm going to be great. I'm going to not eat anything bad. I'm not going to drink anything bad. I'm going to exercise for 5 hours. And then the reality hits.
Yeah, absolutely. Because even myself, I mean, I'll have those days where sometimes even now I'll wake up and it's like, you know what? And yeah, I'll go to McDonald's and I'll have a big, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you don't make it a consistent lifestyle choice. So for my clients, I always start off, Vicki, determining where are they in their dimensions of wellness. And when I talk about dimensions of wellness, this is what makes us human being. I'm talking about our emotional wellness, our intellectual wellness, our occupational wellness, our nutritional wellness, our fitness wellness, our social wellness, and our spiritual wellness. And now there's a new dimension, our environmental wellness. And all that means is, how are you doing in all of those areas that make us human being? So when I start with a client, it'll be out of 10, I need you, Vicky, to let me know in every single one of those dimensions that make Vicky, Vicky, what do you give yourself? Any of the dimensions, Vicky, that you rate under 5, those are the dimensions that you and I will work on in our vitality energy sessions, because you're saying these are the areas that may be draining my energy. So once I determine what they are, I will customize a coaching plan around that. So let's say, for example, for you, it's your finances, because that is part of our wellness. That makes a big deal in our lives. If you feel that, you know what, I'm going to be honest with you, Adrienne, I'm giving myself a 2. I am an impulsive buyer. I max my credit cards. I know I should be saving for my future. I would start off by saying the first thing, Vicky, that I'm going to recommend to you is find a financial advisor in your area and have that first meeting and let them know I'm on a journey right now to rebuild my energy, but I know that my financial wellness is not doing well right now. As a matter of fact, my financial wellness is quite ill and is quite sick. And that is draining my energy, because if you are not financially well, it's on your mind all the time. So it's affecting you mentally. And when anything affects you mentally, you feel it inside your soul. So it's affecting you emotionally. So it's draining your emotional energy and your mental energy. And that's all part of your vitality that you need every day to have an energetic day. So, you know, if that was your issue, that's where we would start. Someone else might say, well, you know what? Most people, it's fitness. Like, to be honest, most people, it's fitness when it comes to their energy levels. So it's about finding out, have you ever been fit? What did it look like? Do you have the commitment? Do you have the time? Would you invest in a personal trainer? Is there a gym in your area? Are you the person that can commit to 10 minutes a day? Maybe you're go for it. It's like, I can do 45 minutes. Okay, you know what? Let's find a gym in your area. Let's maybe start 1 day a week. Let's maybe just go for a walk at lunchtime. After dinner with your partner, just go for a walk around the block. How do you feel? By the time you get home, if you feel good, go for a second walk. So it is definitely the small steps, except for the clients that say, I don't want the small steps. I'm in it all together. I want to go for an hour, Agent. I'm going to commit to an hour. It's like, okay. This is what you're telling me you can do. All right, good for you. Let's do the hour. But when I check in with you, I want you to be honest with me. Did you do the hour 3 times a week as you said you would? So it's whatever commitment they are telling me they're going to do. I am a coach that I will definitely stay on top of it, and I definitely hold them accountable too. So I customize their vitality coaching program based on any of the dimensions that they have indicated fall below a 5, and it's tailored specifically to them and what they're willing, how much they're willing to commit to their own transformation. If someone says, you know what, Agent, okay, I got to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm probably maybe a 7 out of 10 commitment, then I will make sure that all of their goals that we work out together are at a level at a 7, because that's where they're telling me they're at. And as they see that, you know what, hey, I'm doing pretty good. You know what, Agent, I can do a little bit more, give me a little bit more commitment. So it's all based on the direction that they tell me that they're willing to go in.
So practical. It makes perfect sense. So when it comes to spiritual energy, we have touched a little bit on the beginning when you're talking about your journey, but what role are you playing, or what role do you think spiritual energy plays in making them be able to get to that level of motivation, of vitality, of reaching their goals? Because really, if you are lethargic, if you are having those worries of finances or whatever, you aren't achieving your goals. You cannot be putting the amount of energy. So for me, the spiritual energy is really important in that. But talk to us about that from your side.
Mhm. For me, when I talk about spiritual energy, I talk about it from the point of view of us being live organisms. And because we are a live organism, we must connect with other live organisms. So for me, that is our pets, that is vegetation, that is water, that is wildlife. We are all live living organisms. And as such, we have to coexist on this planet. We have to respect other live organisms. We have to acknowledge them. We have to honor them as well too. And so when I talk to my client, one of the strategies that I incorporate when it comes to rebuilding their energy is your spiritual energy needs to connect with other living organisms. And for me, that is time outdoor in nature.
Yeah.
You cannot build a healthy spiritual aura about you if you are indoors all the time, because outdoors is where you're connecting with all the lovely elements that God blessed us with. We have the sun, we have the moon, we have the stars, we have the cool breeze on a hot day like today. We have the vegetation, we have water, we have the soil where we plant the food that we eat. So all of that is living organisms that we need to connect with. So for my clients, it's like start spending time every day out in nature, whether it's a trail walk, whether it's going to the beach, whether it's just going to the park in your area, whether it's just going in your backyard, because maybe you just have a beautiful, maybe you have a great green thumb and you just have a beautiful garden and you have the trees. It's amazing what it will do for your energy when you are outside and you are connecting with living organisms. Now, to add to that, because we are all alive, why not enjoy and talk with other living organisms? So I, for example, when I'm on a walk, I will say to the tree, God, you are beautiful today. Your leaves are vibrant. I'll look at the flowers. I'll say, girls, you are so pretty. And I'll bend down and I'll smell them. I'm acknowledging to them that we are one. We are all one. And as a result of that, I know they are giving back to me. When I see animals on the street, I will say to the owner, can I ask you, is your dog friendly? If they say yes, it's like, can I pet your dog? And I will have a conversation with the dog. When I'm in front of water, I will look at the water and I'll just say, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for all that you do for me. And because I actively interact and have conversation with all living organisms, that is what also boosts my energy because they are giving back to me. And as a result, my spirituality is strong and my vitality with my spirituality is powerful.
Fantastic. We could be sisters, lady. With this is so good. All right. So, are there any specific activities besides walking? Do you find that sometimes your body needs to, like for me, whenever I get too super busy or whatever, I know I need to go to water somewhere, like a beach, or I live near a river. I always try to live near water, but for me, I would just go to the beach when my kids were young, and I'd say, "Here, dear, and grandma's, you're gonna watch them because I need a couple days at the beach where there's nobody bothering me. I don't know anybody. I don't try to meet anybody, and I just sit there and can meditate, but just quiet my brain." And I think I love the apps that we have too today that help you to have that, I guess, artificial, but it's still, it has the sounds of the ocean or the sounds of the birds, and it does quiet your brain that you can actually rebuild your energy, I think.
Absolutely. I'm 100% agree with you. And, you were saying in relation to the apps, because there are a lot of people that live in urban centers, so they don't have that easy access to, to a beach, to wildlife around them. So just having those sounds simulated, even though it's, artificially through an app, it's still kind of emulating the same kind of sound and giving us the same feeling as well too. Because remember, our brains don't know if we are actually sitting in front of a water or listening to it, and it's an app as well too. So the most important thing is that what are you feeding yourself? And that's something else that I talk to my friends, family, even my clients. It's what are you fueling your body with every single day? And when I say fueling your body, I mean physically fueling your body. What are you mentally fueling yourself with? What are you emotionally feeding your emotions with? And what are you spiritually fueling your spirits with as well too? If you take care of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual dimensions, you're ensured to have amazing, amazing energy. What I like to say is, that saying, quid pro quo?
Yeah.
You do for me, I do for you, or you scratch my back, I scratch your back. I've learned through my own beta test and through obviously the years of working with my clients that our bodies are such amazing, miraculous machines. And our bodies are saying to us, you know what? Just give me something nutritional to eat. Just give me some good sleep. Just move me around. Just make me have happy thoughts. Let me feel good. Let me have social, nice people that I'm connected with. And you know what I'm going to do for you, Vicky? I'm going to give you energy to take you to the moon. So our bodies are asking us for such simple things. And in reward, our bodies are saying, you know what I'm going to reward you with? All the energy that you need, because you just gave me some simple things that I need. You scratch my back, Adrienne, I'm gonna scratch your back now. And for me, it's as simple as that. Every single day, scratch my back, Adrienne, I'm gonna scratch your back. You need to do a whole lot of things today, Adrienne. Just, you know what? Let's get some exercise in the morning. Let's just get a good breakfast in the morning. Feel good, some gratitude, appreciation, Adrienne. And guess what, Adrienne? Till you're ready to go to bed, Adrienne, I got your back, Adrienne. Here's your energy. Here's your energy. Vicky, I got energy for days, Vicky. I got energy, Vicky.
I can see that. So good. Time has flown by. We'll have to have another conversation at a later
Oh,
date,
wow.
but
Oh,
definitely
wow,
chat
already.
some more.
Okay.
Chat some more. If you all have been energized by hearing Miss Adrienne tell you all about her story and giving you great strategies, and the thing to remember is she said it so over and over, simple things. It's not, no complex things have to be done for you to get the energy you need. So you want to connect with her, I'm going to give you the connection information. So I'm going to share my screen. If you have been just listening and you are watching and not watching it to get the screenshot, you can go to my YouTube channel, Vicky Nethling. So please subscribe. And you also can find it on my show notes at the website, which is findyourleadershipconfidence.com. So she is on Facebook. If you just search Adrienne, Adrienne Simmons, Simmons, you will be able to find her, and you can find her in LinkedIn using her name, which is Adrienne.Simmons.315. I would check her out at LinkedIn first so you see her beautiful picture, and then you can easily see her on Facebook. That would be my suggestion to you. I'm going to turn it over to Adrienne to talk to you about things that she puts out on those social media platforms and a invitation to link to her scheduler.
Absolutely. I would love to offer you, Vicky, and the members in your audience. I have two gifts. I have energy boosting tips that I put together, whether you are working in the office, whether you're working from home. They're so easy to do. And if you just need a quick boost, sometimes you just need that quick boost to kind of get you over the next couple of hours. So I will share that with you, Vicky. And please, if any of your audience would like to grab that, it's my honor. And I've also put together a health and wellness checklist. For
Awesome.
those individuals that are ready to reboot their energy, to reboost their vitality, we need to start off with your ground zero. Where are you right now in your health and wellness journey? I'm going to send you that report as well, too. I always start off with that report because I want to know this is where you are today. And this is where you're going to be in 3 months after working with me when it comes to reboosting your energy. So I will share those two pieces of information with you to share with your audience. And if you want to connect with me, I do have a website. It is currently being rebuilt, and I'm doing my best. I'm hoping to have it ready by the end of this month. So I will share it with Vicki. She can share it with you at that point. But in the meantime, again, if you want to get in touch with me now, the easiest way to reach me is directly through my coaching email address, and that is my last name, so SIMMONS 2020, the letter A, which is the first letter of my first name, at gmail.com. So that's Simmons 2020A at gmail.com. That is the absolute quickest way to reach me right now. We can open up a conversation, and if you want to have an actual coffee chat with me, then I will send you my calendar link, and you can book an appointment at your leisure. And that's when we will have our very first vitality coffee chat, and you can let me know what your vitality goals are, and I will help you get there in 3 weeks. 3 months, 12 weeks.
And that coffee chat is without coffee.
We'll have a virtual coffee. Unless you live in
That's right.
Toronto, then we can definitely meet at a Starbucks.
Awesome. Well, Adrienne, it has been so wonderful chatting with you. I hope next time I come up to Toronto to come and sit down to a meal with you and just
Yes,
share
that
our
would be
energy
great.
vibes. That'd be awesome. As always, I remind everyone that life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Nettling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nettling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.